You don't know me, but my name's Sai. I'm just the old head. You too funny guy.
Picture this, it's 2009, you're in the car on a cold winter day with your mom. She's driving, she hits the radio, turns on some Kanye West, Run This Town Tonight. You're driving, you're jamming, you get home, you head inside, your homework's all done, you boot up the Xbox 360, turn on the Modern Warfare 2, get quick scoped and called an N-word by some little 12-year-old, you rage quit the game, you turn it off, switch back to the TV, and you hear this noise. And that's when you know it hits. You are in the golden era of Cartoon Network. The start of something great. The start of one of the best ever periods for animation, in my opinion. And you know what time it is. This isn't like any ever show. This isn't like that show over there. This isn't some crazy show. You know what this is? This is a regular show. Let's talk about it. Regular Show is probably my #1 favorite Cartoon Network TV show of all time. I tried to debate in my head, maybe Adventure Time, maybe Kids Next Door, maybe Teen Titans, but none of them matched up to Regular Show. Regular Show had every aspect that I liked as a kid, and every aspect that to this day I like as an adult. Regular Show has always been a big part of my life, so has a lot of animation. I grew up as not the most privileged kid, so most of the time I would just be watching pretty much every TV channel imaginable. I'll watch the Nickelodeons, I'll watch the Disney Channel, the PBS, the Five Guys, fuck, that channel? 4Kids, that's the show, you know, 4Kids, 5Kids, that type of shit. But Cartoon Network was always the GOAT, even during the period of C in Real. Goated. It was absolutely goated. If I think about it now, this was during like the peak of my life, like happiness as a kid. This was legit ignorance is bliss period in my life, because all I really had was the TV, my brothers, and PlayStation 2 and Xbox 360 back then. We didn't have the Xbox 360 till like later down the line, so mainly just the PS2 era. But man, those were the days. But back to the top of the video, Regular Show, man. If you wanted a show that had the characters, the writing, the action, anything, Regular Show was for you. As a kid, you could laugh at the little haha fart joke or haha inappropriate joke, right? You might not get them all, but sometimes you get it like ha ha ha, yo no, he dropped his gumballs type shit, you know what I mean? But all that was just so good, man. Where do I even start with this show? You know what? Hell of it. Let's just get into the premise of the show. If you don't know, what the fuck? But anyway, if you don't know, Regular Show premise is just two guys, a raccoon and a blue jay, working at a park. They're slackers, they don't get shit done, and they are just trying to make ends meet. But they just keep getting into trouble. You can take a normal situation where they're just playing rock, paper, scissors, and the fucking universe is about to get eaten. They could be fucking picking up the chairs. They could be putting up chairs. Go to play an arcade game, and the arcade game come to life. Regular Show was on some shit. It was always just all over the place, and that made it so special. You might just think this is like every other cartoon where like every episode there's just a random thing that happens and no continuity. No, the show had continuity between the episodes. It wasn't the most super strict. It wasn't like an Avatar or a Steven Universe or a Teen Titans to some extent type of show where each episode was super connected. But when they were, and you see little cues to other episodes and character development from other episodes come together, it was amazing. It was on another level. There was something about the show that just made it special, and I can't really put into words, to be honest. I think every aspect pieced together just made it that show. One of the biggest driving factors in the show was the characters. The characters carried this entire show. Of course, what else are you gonna do? The crazy adventures and all that shit? Goated. But if we think about it, it's always the characters that make a show what it is. I'm not just gonna jump in and talk about Mordecai and Rigby first. I want to talk about the side characters, because these side characters were no joke. Honestly, to some extent, I would even say they're main characters. We had characters like Skips. Skips was basically the muscle of the group, but also the wise old one. He's been around longer than pretty much anyone else in the show, and he knows all the crazy, mythical, crazy shit that's going on. He's normally the one that fixes the issues, and he fixes around the house. They had a full-blown episode about him trying to fix a computer, and he couldn't do it because he's an old-fashioned guy. And my man just skips around, you know? Can't really do that old computer shit. But he is always trying to be there, and he is a real one. He's always trying to make sure nobody's getting hurt, protect the people we care about. He was a legend and a GOAT. And then we have Pops. Pops was a fucking riot. This man is a Greco wrestler, this man is a badass, and this man has a giant ass head. But he was a GOAT. He was the lovable comedy relief character, but also became a main character, a main important purpose of the entire show. Pops is just this big ball of energy and care and sugar that you just want to give that man a hug because he deserves it. Pops basically filled the role that we really need in the show, because if we didn't have Pops, we wouldn't have that really nice character that's always going to have your back, that's always going to care, always going to be there to help you, and always just to be an absolute homie. And then there was Benson, the boss, the big gumballs, oh no, I dropped my gumballs, head ass man himself. Benson was basically the strict boss. He was always warning Mordecai and Rigby, always just being the, the big boss. But the thing is, he wasn't a dick. He could be a little rude sometimes, but he just wanted people to do their job, and I can see where he's coming from. The more I grow, the more I can see, god damn, this man had to deal with a lot of bullshit. But he's, he's like basically the leader of the party. He just tells people what to do. He commands them. He's an amazing leader. There was a full episode where shit was hitting the fucking fan. And he just had to calm down, and scream at these niggas because he had to do it to get them to do their work. Because they were just pissing him off to get him fired. He couldn't scream in the episodes. It was fucking crazy. But honestly, I would say he's one of my favorite characters, to be honest. He was a real ass dude. He could play the drum. He was straight up with people, but he still had a softer side that he'd like to show to people, and he really cared for Mordecai and Rigby in the end. When we had my boy Muscle Man, yeah, that man was a GOAT. You know who else likes Muscle Man? My mom, man. This guy was legit a ball of radiant energy, and he was basically the muscle guy, but also the dumb one on the team, because you need dumb one. But he was street smart. He didn't have the book smarts, but he always had the street smarts and always knew what was up, and always knew a guy to know a guy, probably his uncle, maybe his mom. He was always there to just be a little laugh and be the real muscle man of the group, if you know what I'm saying. And then there was the guy, High Five Ghost. I'm gonna keep it real. High Five Ghost didn't have as much character development as the other, but you still gotta love him, because High Five Ghost was just a bro. He was literally just a bro. He was partnered with Muscle Man, and they were just homies too. Kind of like Mordecai and Rigby, they had their own little dynamic where they were just homies. They were always together. They would always high five, yeah, all of that, bro. They were absolute goated. But when you take a cast of amazing characters, side characters like that, then you put them on top of the main characters. Let's get right into the main characters. Mordecai and Rigby, the forever bros, the boys bonded by life, the boys that we follow the most. We'll start off with Mordecai because, my favorite character in the show is Rigby, but we'll get to that in a little bit. Mordecai was more the straight guy of the two. He was always the one that was a little more level-headed and smarter than Rigby. They were both still slackers, but Mordecai was obviously the brains of the operation. He was over there trying to help Rigby out of this mess. He was normally a cause of this, and let's involve the girl, because my man was doing horrendous. Mordecai was always chasing ladies, and that led to a lot of confrontations, but other than that, Mordecai was pretty much a good guy. He was a good friend, just to look out for a friend. He would also make fun of Rigby, of course, because, friends do that all the time. Friends take shit out of each other all the time. But you can always count on Mordecai in the end. You'll know they would fight throughout the episode. Mordecai do some dumb shit, Rigby do some dumb shit, but they always come together. And Mordecai was that guy. He was a hopeless romantic that went through multiple girlfriends, but in the end, he always had his boy Rigby. He just needed to come back around and always know that Rigby was there for him. All in all, Mordecai, it's not a lot to say about him. He's a pretty interesting character, but to be honest, if I had to choose between the two, who was really the main character, I'll have to say it's Rigby. Rigby himself. My man, Trash Boat. One Cheek Wonder. The absolute GOAT of animation. Rigby has always been a character that I connected with, because I see a little bit of myself, and I see a lot of bit of myself inside of Rigby, Rigby is literally like me if I was slightly more lazy, I was always the fun-loving one. I was always the one to get punched, the small one in the group, not the big guy in the group, not the strong one, not the smart one, but I was always, just the bro. I was always there. And Rigby, just as a character, he experiences some of the greatest character growth. He was a troublemaker. He was the lazy one. He was the one that caused most of the issues. He was always trying to find a way to cheat, relax, and just live his life. He was living like a little lad, He was trying to free roam, get shit done, but like on his own time. So he always try to find another way around, and chaos ensued, all that shit. My man Rigby went from all that to literally being one of the most reliable, best, straight, upfront characters ever. If I were to say a point where I think his character started to change, was probably the movie for me. The regular show movie was fucking goated. People don't talk about it. I might have to make a video on that entirely, but that movie was great. Basically proves that evil Mordecai comes back to the past. A whole lot of shit. It was time travel shit, right? It's gonna be hard to explain, but basically, time travel, evil guy, go brr 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 brr, all this nonsense, shenanigans. But it all started because Rigby, back in the day, switched out Mordecai's papers to basically get him to not go to college. Made Mordecai look like Mordecai failed. And that did not go well because, you know, you ruined my life. But whole movie's just him trying to hide it, but then he gets it and then they're fighting. But then Rigby just comes together, reveals everything, and then the boys become bros at the end. But you can see that this hit Rigby. Rigby was like, shit, I'm a shitty person. And then Rigby just evolves past that. Him and Eileen, one of the best relationships in all of animation, bro. One of the best. This man does everything, bro. He ain't even a simp, though. My man went back to school just because he knew Eileen wanted to be with someone that was smart and educated and all that. Just from like an old diary. This man's always hanging out with her. To the point where even Mordecai's like, wait, y'all went where? He's like, yeah. He always do this shit. It turns out that Rigby all along had just been this absolute, like, perfect boyfriend, perfect worker, perfect dude, but he's just been lazy about it. But when he puts his mind to it, he gets it done, and that's how I am. If I put my mind to something, I'm gonna get it done no matter what. And you just can't not like Rigby. But that's just the characters, alright? The characters just carry this entire show, and what makes it good. But there's also other aspects. The references. This show references so much in media, man. Whether it's the music, maybe it's the Five Nights at Freddy's fucking ripoff. Do y'all remember that? They had guns. They were shooting people. What the fuck? This show was on some shit. I swear. There were so many good things. From the guy cheats in the arcade, becoming a big antagonist for later, Gary Bobby Ferguson, my guy. My dude was a literal head. Fucking the whole thing with the spy, which was like an intern. Thomas, what the fuck? There was just so many great aspects in the show that made it come together. If I were to compare this to other Cartoon Network shows, I would have to say this is the best. It had the character development, it had the characters in general, it had the scenery, it had the story, it had all this thing that came together. And we can't talk about regular show without talking about a finale. Oh my God, I might start tearing up just thinking about it. I will say a little spoiler warning. If you haven't seen the finale of regular show, just skip ahead for my outro. But any of that, let's just talk about this finale. When I say this finale was just a cultivation of everything that made regular show good, it was. It came off the back of a season that a lot of people didn't like, regular show in space. I'm gonna be honest, I enjoyed it. I liked the characters, I liked the stories. I didn't have any problem with it, but it was the back of that. So not a lot of people were like super hyped for it. But that finale, it goes basically like this. Evil Pops, which is, I don't know his name, I'm not gonna be honest, I forgot his name. But there's an evil Pops, and Pops is destined to fight him. So they end up having the clash, and then boom, explosion, resets the timeline. But Mordecai and Rigby figure out what's going on, like, what the shit? So they need to figure out how to do it, right? So all these old references to other episodes and what's the space-time continuum controlling all of it, right? Comes to a close, and they change the future. Pops, instead of killing or tying with his evil counterpart, hugs him, and Pops and him die. They killed off Pop. They killed off the most lovable character that no one could hate. They did it. They killed my man off in the finale. It goes back to the people on Earth. They're mourning our man Pops. Pops is a hero. My man died doing the thing that he does the most, and that's protecting the people he cares about. It got my heart, bro. My heart. Pops dies and they end up going back. But then you're just seeing the future. It just shows the future. Eileen and Rigby living the best life. Mordecai still being a simp. He's with some new girl. We don't know much about her. And it just ends with the boys in the park going up playing video games. There's a lot I left out there because honestly, those were just, it had the big spoiler nerve. That's why I put spoiler warning. But man, it was just the perfect wrapping to the cake. It had the chaos, the action, the comedy, and the characters just to make it just come together. Not a lot of shows get the finales they deserve. SpongeBob is still going on to this day. Family Guy is still going on to this day. Fairly Odd Parents getting fucking canceled. Danny Phantom rushed. There's very few shows that get that finale, that send-off that they deserve. But man, regular show got it. I will be talking about other shows that did get this, you know, Adventure Time. There's some shows out there that did get it, but man, the fact that it got the ending it deserved just make things great. And you know something great? If you're still missing the regular show, you're still missing that vibe. There's another show close enough. It airs on something, I don't fucking know. I'll put it right here. Alright, it airs there. It's basically a regular show with fucking different characters. Same universe it seems, same comedy, but just adulter. So like you grew up with regular show, and now you can move over to Close Enough, and they can add even more jokes and stuff that you'll get now as an adult. 'Cause back then you'll get the ones as a kid. Shit is amazing. But man, that's all we have to say for today, guys. I don't really know how to put it into words. Regular show has always been that show to me that I want to make a video about, because it's just regular show is me. We're just all regular dudes in this world, and who knows, crazy shit likes to happen all the time. Have you seen 2020? Have you seen 2021? It's insane. But man, that's all I gotta say for today, guys. I hope you guys enjoyed the video. If you guys did, make sure to leave a like, show me a lot of love, all that shit. I love you guys so much. This video was really fun to make, just to think and just sit here and talk about something I cared about. It hit different. It hit different, just like fucking McDonald's Sprite. But Jesus, that's all I gotta say again. See you guys in the next one.